Okay, ready?
Sir.
Okay, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to make sure that you have a great life. And so I'm giving you the science, the rules, the tools, the wisdom, the support, and the love you need in order to make sure you live a great life. Statistically speaking, if you don't listen to what I'm trying to tell you, you'll not have a great life. You'll have a mediocre life. You'll be a loser. You'll get old. You'll die. That's it. Now, how do I know that's true? Look around you. People are living great lives. Brilliant. So far, for everyone who's missed it, it's very, very easy. 3 steps of living a great life. Go. Number 1, identify the goal.
Yes.
Number 2, identify the steps you need in order to achieve the goal. Great. Number 3, do those things. What's the goal? What steps do I need to take? Do those things. Brilliant. So then we said the goal of life is to become a great person. Self-actualization. How do you define great? Basically said 2 things. Number 1, character traits. Be kind, loving, supportive, motivated, inspired, inspiring, peaceful, playful, kind. Kind is basically the main thing. And impact the world around you in a positive way. That's it. That's all you're here for. You can also have a job and be a real estate agent and watch sport and do that. You can actually. But that's not what life's about. Life is about improving yourself and improving the world. Brilliant. So then we said that that's really 2 different things. There's your tachlit, your purpose in life is to improve yourself. And your purpose and your tafkid, your mission is to improve the world. We said there are 2 amazing things about this definition. The 2 amazing things about this definition are, number 1, it's the key to everything you want in life, which is happiness, good relationships, self-esteem, meaning, and health. And number 2, it's up to you. You get to choose how great you are. So if I meet you in 20 years from now and I say, how are you? And you're like, not too bad, then it's your fault. I'm an idiot. And don't blame your external circumstances, because we actually believe that challenging external circumstances are perfect ground for cultivating amazing character traits and changing the world. So don't be a victim, don't be a spectator in your life, be a vibrant participant and a manager, and make sure you have a great life, even if you have terrible, difficult suffering in your life. Which life's pretty painful, it will be challenging, and you can feel your pain. We're going to talk about emotional balance. I'm not saying repressed pain. If you need to cry, you're allowed to cry, but then get up and do something to change. Fine. Then we said, do you want to live a meaningful life? And everyone says, yes, I'd like to live a meaningful life. So I said, what does meaningful mean? Anything that's taking you towards the purpose is meaningful. If it's not taking you towards your purpose, it's not meaningful. So if you want to be a good husband, then watching pornography, that's not taking you towards being a good husband. So that's not meaningful, don't do it. In fact, that's anti-meaning. That's taking you away from being a good husband. So we said there are 3 levels. Meaningful is, it's taking me towards my goal. Anti-meaningful, taking me away from my goal. Meaningless is, it's neither. It can be either. So going to the gym, is that meaningful or not? Depends. If you're going to let off steam and to be strong and healthy, then it's meaningful. If you're going just so you can get ripped, then go to manipulate women, then that's not meaningful. Right? So that's where we've gone so far, basically. That covered it. Live up to your values, basically. Have the right values, which are growth and contribution, and live up to them. So if you think that being a good person is more important than looking good, being good is more important than looking good, then you should spend more time, effort and money on actually improving your character traits than on your clothes and your hair and your car and what people think of you. That should be clear. Although, you're allowed to have a nice car as well. We said Judaism is amazing. We're not Buddhist monks sitting in caves, and we're not wallowing in physicality. We have a balance, so you can have lots of money and nice food and get married. And you can have all the pleasures of this physical world. There's just a conscious and holy way to do that. Brilliant. So today we're now talking about the key motivating factor that you're going to need in order to achieve whatever you want to achieve. Actually, this is for the good or for the bad. There's one thing, if you have this in a very, very, very focused way, you will actually achieve it. So we said you've got your goal, the steps to achieve the goal, and then do those things. Now, doing those things is a bit difficult because, who here would like to be a great person? Right. So, do you understand that getting up before sunrise and doing exercise and meditating would really, really tap you into being a better, healthier, and more amazing person? Unless you become arrogant because of that, and then you look down on people who not. But in general, everyone knows that falling asleep at 2 o'clock in the morning, stoned, looking at a screen, that's not going to make you great. You get that? So why are you doing that and not that? That's the question. Because you don't have the one ultimate factor you need in order to be a great person and achieve everything you want to achieve. And we learn this from Rashi, actually. Very interestingly, at the beginning of the Torah, Cain and Abel, they're brothers. Cain brings an offering, God doesn't accept the offering because Cain didn't really mean it. He was just trying to pay God off. Abel, Hevel, brings his offering, but he really meant it. He said, I want the relationship with God. So Hashem took it. Cain gets very upset. Hashem says to Cain, chill out, not so bad, just try better, but be careful. Your Yetzer Hara, your negative mind, your negative character traits, all that negativity, that animalistic, selfish side of you is always going to try and get you, but you can beat it. You can beat the animalistic, egotistical, selfish nature. Rashi then comes onto the page and says 4 words. How to beat your Yetzer Hara. And this, we're not messing around, this is Rashi. Rashi, no one ever learns Torah without Rashi. Rashi is the main commentator on the Torah. No, the Arizal, when he learned Torah, he learned with Rashi. And so did Rabbi Moshe Feinstein, and so did the Baal Shem Tov, so did the Chafetz Chaim, so did the Vilna Gaon, so did the Rosh Yeshiva. No one ever learns Torah without Rashi now. Rashi's words have been stuck onto God's words. That's mind-blowing. So he tells you the 4 words. How do you beat your Yetzer Hara? Would you like to know them? Im titzeh titgaber alav. If you want to, you will beat it.
Say it again.
Im titzeh, if you want to, titgaber alav. You will conquer it. You will strengthen yourself over it. If you want to beat your negativity and your animalistic, selfish, ego nature, if you want to, you will. If you want to beat your Yetzer Hara, you will. So everyone's like, what do you mean? Of course I do. Of course I want to beat it. Yeah, you do want to beat it, but you also want to smoke that weed and look at that thing and press the snooze button and eat that and watch that. So what he's saying is, if you really, 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 really actually want it, then you will beat it. That's all. You have to want it. So the key to achieving all your goals in life, as long as they're reasonable goals, and remember, you have reasonable goals. Your reasonable goals are improve myself, improve the world. That's a reasonable goal. Is to want it. It's called ratzon. Do you want it enough? If you want it, you will. You get to choose how much you want to improve your character traits. You've got a problem though, it's not easy. It's much easier to smoke weed and watch Netflix and do stuff and eat pizza than to feed orphans and be a good husband. So, this is our problem. Our problem is, and it says in the first paragraph of the Shema, "Ve'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha b'chol levavecha," and you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart. Does anyone here speak Hebrew? How do you say heart in Hebrew?
Lev.
Lev. How do you say your heart? Libcha. Levcha. Libcha. So, but in the Shema it says levavecha, 2 vets. Why are there 2 vets?
2 hearts.
2 hearts. The Gemara, the Talmud says, is teaching us that you actually have 2 hearts, which means you have 2 ratzons. You have 2 desires, and they're opposite, and they conflict with each other. You want to give up smoking, but you also want to smoke. You want to get out of bed and go for a run, but you also want to stay in bed. You want to eat that thing, but you also don't want to eat that thing. You basically got this dual power within you. And we really call it the Yetzer Tov, the good power, and the Yetzer Hara, which means, by the way, it's not bad. It doesn't say the Yetzer Hara. It's the craving towards selfish, dopamine, physical, or respect, ego, pleasure, basically. That's it. So you have these 2 drives, and they're in conflict. So you're fighting this battle, really your whole battle is a conflict between your 2 ratzons. Ratzon, Ratzov. You got your 2 ratzons. So I got a question. How do you know how much you want something? Remember, if you want it enough, you'll do it. How do you know? There are 2 ways. How you know, or really 3 ways, but we'll do the 2 main ways and then I'll chuck in the 3rd. 2 ways you know how much you want something.
You do it. Like the thing you do is the thing you want.
Okay, how much effort you're willing to put in.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. How much effort are you willing to put in? How much sacrifice are you willing to make? So if you really, 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 really want to win the gold medal in Olympic Games, you're going to sacrifice going clubbing with your friends and other things that you actually enjoy doing. You're going to sacrifice them because you want that more. I want it, I'll sacrifice. So for example, who here finds it difficult to get up in the morning? What if I offered you $50,000 to meet me at 4 a.m. and do what I do at 4 a.m.? Bear crawls, bear crawl, 10 push-ups, bear crawl, 30, 10 push-ups. You want to do, you'll be there, $50,000. But I just thought you said it's difficult to get up in the morning. Yeah, but with $50,000, I wouldn't even go to sleep. How about I need you to pick up like the most gorgeous woman from the airport at 5 o'clock in the morning and take her back to her hotel room?
No.
Yeah, I'll do this. Okay, guide. So, suddenly, when there's something that you value, you get up. I'm not even saying that it then becomes easy to get up. If I was offering you $50,000, it might not be that easy to get up, but you'd do it. You'd set 8 alarms and you get your friends to wake you up. So the truth is, you actually don't find it that hard to get up in the morning. You just don't value what you're getting up for. Once you value what you're getting up for, then of course you get up. Because if you want it enough, you put in the effort to get it. And then you look at me and say, well, you're not offering me $50,000 and beautiful women. So what am I offering you? Self-respect, happiness, meaning, good relationships. I'm offering you an amazing life, you idiot. What do I have to value to get up for? Value yourself, you idiot, not you. Did you have a question?
I did. Slightly on something, but how much sleep do you think? How much sleep?
Different topic. I'll talk about sleep a lot. I'm a big. What's the opposite of fan? I just say
Antagonist. Nonchalant.
so weird. There's not an opposite of fan.
Hater.
Enemy. Hate.
Hater.
I'm not into sleep. I think sleep is for humans. We shouldn't. Oh, baby. You know those boys going into Gaza now? They're getting 2 hours and running 80 kilometers carrying their friends in stretchers. Fine. Number one way you can know how much you want something is how much effort you're willing to put into it, how much you're willing to sacrifice to get it. So if you want it enough, you'll put in the effort to get it. If you want to be ripped enough, you'll go to the gym for hours. There's a guy came to Aish, and after like a few weeks, he was here for a while, he said, you know, Rebbe, I just don't have enough discipline. I'm not disciplined to learn Torah. And you know, you've got to put on tefillin every day. I don't have any discipline. This was the most ripped human being you could ever see. He had like a 16-pack. I was like, you have discipline in the gym. You stay in the gym for 8 hours a day looking at your squat. Is my squat perfect? So once you value being ripped. So suddenly you have discipline because you value being ripped. So if you value Torah, if you really knew what Torah was, if you valued tefillin, you get out of bed and do it joyfully. Yeah. Number one way you know how much you want something is how much effort. Number two way, which is really I put as number one, how much do you think about it? If you want that girl, you can't stop it. It's not even you need to try to think about her, you're obsessed. You cannot stop thinking about her, or you wake up thinking about her, fall asleep thinking about her, you see things, you check her social media, she's talking to another guy, it kills you, you're like, you know, something like messed up, obsessed, messed up. Because the more you want her, you want that new pair of shoes, you can't stop thinking about a new pair. You want that job, can't stop thinking about the job. You want your team to win, can't stop thinking about your team. You basically, in fact, 90% of what you're thinking about is what you want. That's what you think about. What do I want and how do I get it? Your whole life is a little animalistic, what do I want and how do I get it? That's what you do. You're just chasing your desires all day. That's why, by the way, Buddhism says, sit in a cave and get rid of all desires. And Judaism says, don't sit in a cave, but get rid of most of your desires. Your desire is actually ruining your life. Who do you think's happier? Someone who really, really wants an amazing car, and then first, well, if he doesn't get it, he definitely won't be happy. But even if he does get it, or someone who actually is okay without an amazing car. The guy who doesn't want the car is a much happier person, because the guy who's craving the car, he's craving it because he thinks it's going to give him some happiness or meaning or self-respect or anything, which it won't, by the way, then he'll just want something else. So someone who has a great desire for stuff, especially material stuff, they'll never be happy however much they get. They'll just want more. There's someone with a bigger house and a bigger this and better looking, but it just doesn't work. So the person who doesn't want anything is much happier than the person who wants a lot. Because they'll either not get it or they'll get it and they still want it a lot. But Judaism says no. We don't want to kill our desire. Our desire. This is the whole class. Is you want strong desire just for the right thing. The stronger your desire is for the right thing, the more your effort you'll put in, the more you'll think about it. The last way, by the way, is prayer, to feel out. How much you pray for it? If you really want it, you'll pray for it. In fact, you can tell how much you want things by what are you praying for. I gave a class the other day about loving every Jew. You have a mitzvah, you have to love every Jew unconditionally. You can have the most pro-Palestine, whatever Jew you don't like. You have to love them. You have to see their soul, they're your brother. You have to love every Jew. So I said to the boys, do you really actually want to love every Jew? And they're like, yeah. And I said, okay, how much have you prayed for it in the last 3 months? And they're like, I never prayed for it in my life. You don't want it. You're just praying to get married and to understand your Gemara, which is fine. You should have those things too. But do you want to love every Jew? But to pray to love every Jew. Want to love every Jew. And by the way, you have to love every non-Jew as well. And every tree and every animal. You've got to be a loving person. Are you praying to love all of humanity? Well, no, I'm praying for a job and with that girl in the car. What are you even praying for? That would be a different class. We're talking about prayer. So fine, do we understand? Ratson, what you think about and what are you putting in for you? So fine. My student comes up to me and he says, Rabbi, I want to give up smoking. At which point I said, brilliant, that's fantastic, give up smoking. And then they say my least favorite phrase in the English language, which is, it's easier said than done. You're such a loser. I'm just going to stick your cigarette in your face. What are you doing? I know it's easier said than done. You're not going to be a great person unless you do things that it's easier said than done. So I say, hold on, if you want to give up smoking, give up smoking. Why can't he give up smoking if he wants to give up smoking? Because he also wants to smoke. Is that bad? The second he wants to give up smoking more than he wants to smoke, he'll give up smoking. Because when you have this battle, you know, the alarm goes, get out of bed, or curl over, snooze button, go back into bed. At that moment you have a battle. Now I'm going to tell you a fundamental rule of life. You always do the one you want to do more. You always do the one, eat that cake or not eat it. You will do the one you want to do more. It might be a battle, but you'll end up doing the one you want to do more. Stay in bed or get out of bed. Smoke that weed, don't smoke that weed. Whatever it is, you'll always do the one you want. How do I know, by the way? Because that's the one you did. So you had to have wanted to do more. I once gave this class and someone said to me, no. I was playing video games and my parents said to me, if I don't come and visit my grandmother, then they'd take away my video games. So I went and visited my grandmother, but that's not what I wanted to do more. What did I say? There are two answers to that, by the way. One answer is it wasn't your choice. At that point you were forced into it. The second one, yes, you chose your video games. You didn't want to lose your video games more than you didn't want to go to your grandmother's. You still did what you want to do more. You always did what you want to do more. Now, which one do you want to do more? Smoke the cigarette or not smoking? Get out of bed or not get out of bed? Go to the gym or not go to the gym? Shout at your wife or not shout at your wife? By the way, if any of you ever shout at your wife, you should hate yourself forever. I'm being serious. Could you ever look at yourself in the mirror? And this better be with your girlfriend, with who you're dating. You never raise your voice to a woman, you crazy. Well, alpha male. Made me feel good. You're an alpha baby, that's what you are. Shout at your wife. Which one do you want to do more? Well, why do you want everything you want?
Makes you feel good.
Pleasure, that's it. You buy those shoes because those shoes you think will give you more pleasure than those shoes. When you go to a restaurant, you choose that dish because that will give you more pleasure than that dish. You marry who you marry because that will give you more pleasure. You come to my class rather than that class because you think it will give you more pleasure. Whatever it is. Even if it's hard in the moment, you do it because you think eventually it will give you more pleasure. I'm going to work for my exam rather than going out with my friends. So that's not giving you more pleasure. I'd rather get no, because you know that if you pass your exam, it will give you more pleasure. You're completely driven by pleasure. You're a pleasure-seeking machine. So you always do the one which gives you more pleasure. So in that moment, when you want to smoke the cigarette, you're craving a cigarette, what's going to give you more pleasure? Smoking it or not smoking it? In the moment, smoking it will definitely give you more pleasure. Not smoking it will cause pain. In that moment, smoking it. By the way, you just got to remember, most people's pleasure is just escaping their pain. I want you to understand that in your life. Most people don't understand this. When you're craving a cigarette, you're at -10 pleasure. You don't. So when you have the cigarette, you've basically just taken away the craving, so you've gone up all the way to 0. So now you're on 0 level pleasure, but it's 10 times higher than 10, so you think it's pleasurable. It's like me sticking my finger in your eye, and then I take it out, and you're like, wow, that feels great. You're an idiot. Entertainment is so great. Why? Just because you've got such an awful life, you hate your job. So you come home and you watch Netflix and it feels so good to you, but why does it feel so good? Just because you don't have to think about your awful, mediocre, loser life. So what we want you to do is have actual pleasure, the real pleasure. So in the moment, what's going to give you more pleasure? Get out of bed or curl up and it's nice warm? In the moment, definitely. In fact, doing the other thing is going to give you pain. So this is your whole problem in life. You're selling out. You're taking counterfeit, temporary, superficial pleasures, like that cigarette and the curl over and go back to sleep, or eating that thing or watching that thing, dopamine, pleasure. And it's not getting you anywhere near your goal of being a great person. Because smoking and going back to sleep and eating that thing or watching that thing will never make you a great person. It won't even make you a happy person. It will make you feel good temporarily, superficially in the moment. And by the way, afterwards you'll feel like an idiot, usually. When you get up at 10 o'clock again and you're like, oh no, I missed my run again, what an idiot. Or when you spend too much on your credit card again, or when you, whatever you did, you feel stupid after that cigarette. You're like, I'm such a loser, why did I have a cigarette again? So the temporary dopamine, superficial pleasure in that moment has just destroyed your sense of self, your health, your meaning, everything. It killed everything. But if you take the temporary pain of not having the cigarette, the temporary pain of getting out of bed even though it's cold, the temporary pain of getting into the freezing mikveh, every day I don't want to do this. And then I do, and I'm like, oh, I obviously did. I wanted to do that. Not in the moment though. So if you say no to that cigarette and then you do 50 push-ups instead, then you'll have a much higher pleasure. It's called the pleasure of growth, self-respect, and health. Those are meaningful pleasures because they're taking you towards your real goal, which is self-actualization and impacting the world. And that will be consistent pleasure then. You're living on a level of life itself is pleasurable, not life itself is pretty difficult, but I'm going to just find I'm going to snort something to feel good quickly and then go to a concert. And there was a major concert, man. Okay. Now you can still go to concerts. Yishai Rebo's playing soon, next week. Go to concerts. So Judaism says you can have all the pleasures of the world, just do it in a conscious way. Don't do it like an animal. Be conscious when you take your pleasures. If you want it enough, you'll do it, okay? So now, let's talk about our subject. The whole purpose of life and the definition of success for now, before we get spiritual and talk about God, is improve yourself and improve the world. How much do you think about that, and how much do you put effort into achieving that? What percentage of your day would you say to yourself, I'm actually working on overcoming my base physical pleasure drives with self-control to have a more meaningful, empowered life? Now at the moment you're sitting in yeshiva, you're doing pretty well. Most of your friends your age, they're like sort of like bling and this, not doing that well. They're lovely people, by the way, this isn't judgment. I think they're lovely, sweet people, they can come to me for showers. But are they going to look at themselves in the mirror and just think, wow, I'm living in I just respect myself. Just basic self-respect, not arrogance. Lots of people have arrogance because they have a nice car and so they might feel good. They have the pleasure of, I'm getting these temporary pleasures, but arrogant people, even though they might look very confident and happy, they're not actually confident. Well, they are confident, they're not actually happy because they're still getting their sense of self based on external recognition. And maybe that guy's going to be better looking than me, and maybe my girlfriend's going to talk to that guy and he's got a better car. So they don't actually have peace of mind. They look cool and confident and outgoing. They don't have peace of mind because they're always chasing this, I've got to look a certain way in order to get my sense of self. I have to feel a certain way in order to get my sense of self. So really the two opposing drives in your life, Yetzer Hara and Yetzer Tov, summing it up in our terms that we've been talking about, values, the lower physical ego drive is to look good and feel good. I want to look good and feel good, and that's called ego. I'm going to get my sense of self based on what car I drive, what job I have, how well my kids do in school, how big my house is, and how good looking my wife is. That's called looking good. How many people like my Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, whatever. Then there's the feeling good. I just want to eat, sleep, smoke this, be with this woman, whatever it is. So in general, that's the ego physical drive, is just physically feeling good and ego feeling good, getting respect and honor. Then the higher drive is be good and do good. I just want to be good and do good. That's it. Improve myself, improve the world. I'm driven by being good and doing good. That's all I care about. So in general, Judaism says you can have it all. If you are driven, which 99% of the world are driven by looking good and feeling good, if you're driven by those things, you often end up not being good or doing good, because you're just selfishly feeding your own physical pleasure and ego pleasure. But you often end up not even feeling good, as we just said, because after you smoke that cigarette or do that, then you're like, you don't feel good about yourself. And you often even don't end up looking good. If you're only focused on being good and doing good, that's all I care about. My whole I get up in the morning, I just want to be good and do good. Every decision I make, is this going to make me be good? Is this going to improve me, improve the world or not? That's my decision. Not is it going to make me feel good? Not is it going to make me look good? I have one driving motivation, purpose, ratzon, desire, is be good and do good. Then you actually end up also feeling good and looking good. Because it feels good to be good. It actually feels good. I feel good about myself, not I have some temporary feeling good. And you end up looking good, not that you want to look good, but people respect you. Because, oh look, you're doing great things for the world. So you can be good, do good, look good, and feel good. We want you to. You can only do that if you only care about being good and doing good. You don't care about looking good and feeling good. And then you'll have it all. Ratzon, what are you thinking about? What are you investing in? This is what I'm doing. Now your problem, by the way, is that in general the right decision is more difficult. That's it. Smoking the cigarette is very, very easy. Sitting on the couch, drinking beer, watching sport, very, very easy. Meditating for half an hour, not so easy. Smoking weed, very easy. Meditating, not so easy. But smoking weed isn't actually helping you that much. Weed smokers are not the most motivated people on the face of the planet. And in between smoking weed, your mind's not working as well. Whereas someone who's meditating isn't going to reach as high a level of consciousness or unconsciousness as quickly, but once they start tapping into true meditation, completely transforms your life. How you're thinking that actually makes you super conscious in between meditation sessions. Whereas smoking weed might feel good in the moment, but then you go down to I'm just not particularly conscious or motivated. So that's it. It's true, I'm just driven by this one thing. Problem being, takes effort. The key is effort. But we just said at the beginning, if you want it enough, you'll be willing to put in effort. Do you have a question?
Yeah, my question was, if you sort of strip away all like material pleasures in this world, how does that differ from being in a state of depression where you don't take pleasure from these sorts of things?
I'm answering it for a Buddhist monk here, by the way, because Judaism doesn't say to strip away all the you can have a very nice house and a very nice car and a very beautiful wife and great food, and we'd say there's a holy way to do these things. Just make sure the food's kosher and say a blessing before and after. Just say make sure your wife is kosher. Make sure your money is kosher. Use your money to help the world. So we're not. So I'll answer your question from a Buddhist. A Buddhist gets the immense pleasure of just being. Because the only thing that's taking away from your natural state of pleasure is your mind. It's your overthinking and your caught in the past and the future and anxiety and doubt, jealousy, fear, worry. So what meditation does is strip away your mind, at which point you're just present, and present moment is very pleasurable. Where do we learn this from? And we'll talk about this more when we talk about happiness, is babies. Babies are generally cool because they can't think. As soon as you can't think, there's no reason not to be happy. It's your own thoughts that are destroying your happiness. So that's what Buddhism is doing. Buddhism is saying, I'm going to calm my thoughts, but then they say attachment to material things, that messes up your thought. It's harder to calm your thoughts when you're attached to material things, so don't get attached to material. Which is true, by the way. If you have a wife and children, that makes life harder, because they get sick or sad, or so life gets very challenging when you have. So there is some truth in what they're saying. Attachment does cause difficulty and pain. So let's just not get attached so we can have peace. Judaism says no, it's a much higher level to overcome your ego when you have to pay the rent and deal with your screaming children. Not by running away from it. Someone once said that Buddhist monks are the happiest people in the world. They're not. They might be the calmest people in the world, not the happiest people. They don't get to experience the immense joy of connection to God, to family, to values, to fighting for something I believe in. But they're very calm. I enjoyed it a lot. It was great. But we got the balance. We can do it all. So that's it. Today's class was all about your one motivating factor, Ratzon, how much do you want it, and how do you feed your Ratzon. One way to feed your Ratzon, by the way, is just to realize this will give me more pleasure. Still a bit selfish though. I'm about to smoke the cigarette. What will actually give me more pleasure right now? Smoking this cigarette or saying no? Maybe not right now. What will give me more real pleasure? Smoking this cigarette or not? And say to yourself, if I don't smoke it, I'll get more pleasure, self-respect, self-esteem, and then throw it away. So you can. So I'm saying you can still be driven by pleasure, just get clear on what sort of pleasure you want.